Hi. Is that better? Okay. I think I've been talking and saying nothing. So, um, yes, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Hello. Welcome to the MuseScore Cafe. Um, Today is Wednesday, January 9th, 2019, and welcome to everyone. And welcome especially to the new users, and this is kind of a special edition of this weekly cafe series that I do, where I'm really just focusing on mostly on new users and just showing you what there is. And even people who have been using MuseScore for a while, you might just see something that you didn't know about. And as always on these cafe sessions, I conduct them live. And if you're watching this live, by all means, feel free to drop me a comment in the chat, the live chat there on YouTube. So if you ask me a question, I'm happy to try to answer that. And really, I'm open to answering questions on pretty much anything. So it's good to see all of you guys too, figuratively speaking anyhow. Let me just first, for people who are new and maybe you've heard a little bit about MuseScore, you've just downloaded it, you're not really sure what's going on with it. If you're not aware, MuseScore is software for creating music notation. It's basically, as I describe it, it's like a word processor for sheet music. So it's a software you use to create notated music. For instance, this is a piece that used to be the official demo piece for MuseScore. You used to see this every time you started up, a piece that I wrote to kind of show off the features of MuseScore. And I created this in MuseScore. And if I hit the space bar, it will play back and you can hear what it sounds like. So it's useful for creating music. This is piano music. I've also created, here's a lead sheet that I created, and this is in the current version of MuseScore, MuseScore 3, which just came out. I mean, literally like just 2 weeks ago. So MuseScore 3 has some nice, wonderful new features, including this jazz font. It used to just be a font that you could use for the text and the chord symbols, but now it's available for everything, the clefs and the accidentals, the notes themselves. Everything is drawn with this jazz font, if you choose to use that font. So this is something that I created. Here's another score I created in MuseScore. This one is for a string quartet. And the instruments will all play back. I can start here. This is a fugue, so it starts off with just one. Well, I'll start from the beginning. So this score was created for string quartet. Actually, I wrote it not thinking specifically of any instruments. I wrote it originally for piano, and then I arranged it for string quartet. It's rather difficult to play on piano. When you write music for an ensemble like this, you know, the score will show all the instruments, but then you can also automatically generate the parts for each of the instruments. So the violin part here, and then, you know, the second violin part, etc. So that then you can print out the music and give it to some actual violin players and viola and cello players to play. And so MuseScore automatically will generate all those parts. If you write a score for transposing instruments, for saxophones or clarinets or trumpets, etc., then the music can automatically be transposed for them. You can write it in the key, you know, that it sounds like, so you can write it just based on the sound of the music, but then the parts will be automatically transposed so that when people play it, it sounds right. So all of this MuseScore does for you automatically. Other things you can do in MuseScore, I've used it to create like exercises. This is an exercise we've been doing in a jazz combo that I direct, and we've been practicing playing certain melodic lines over particular chord progressions. So I, excuse me, used it to create this practice sheet. I've also used it to create like tests and homework assignments, and so you can mix a lot of text and music. If you're going to write a lot of text, like if you're writing a book and you just want a few musical examples, then you're actually better off using a word processor for the text, but MuseScore makes it really easy to include musical examples. So for instance, if I want to, this is the camera icon for taking a snapshot, if I just wanted to make this an image, then I right-clicked and then copy, or Control-C to copy, and now this is an image that I can paste into a word processor. If I was smart, I would have a word processor already up here, but I don't. Do I have something that I can paste into? Well, I can just paste right into MuseScore, and you can see what that looks like. So I can click here and then say paste. And here's that music. Oh, there is a bug in the current version of MuseScore that, as you can see, is making the text way too big. It only does this for certain systems that have high resolution displays. The bug is already fixed in an update that will be coming out any day now. But anyhow, that is why when I pasted that image, Control-V to paste, you can see the image, but the text is way too big. So yeah, that bug is already fixed. But in any case, you can also, instead of using the cut and paste, if you save as an image and then load that image into a file, then that bug doesn't exist. It's only there when copying and pasting. And again, the bug's already fixed, not to worry. I don't like showing off bugs, but it is useful then to sort of segue into a little more discussion about what MuseScore really is. I mean, it's software for creating music notation, but this is free and open source. So free, we all understand what free means, and sometimes we use the expression in the open source world, free as in beer, free beer, meaning free you don't have to pay for, but then there's free as in freedom, meaning it's something that anyone can contribute to. Anyone can, if you see a bug in the software and you're a programmer, you can go in and fix that bug yourself because the source code to the program is available. Now, many people watching this are like, well, I'm not going to do that, but it's a large world. There's 7 billion people or so on this planet, and all it takes is 0.001% of the people who use MuseScore to say, you know what, I think I'm going to try to fix a bug that I just saw, and then bugs get fixed. And this is exactly what's been happening. MuseScore has been kind of released to the public for, wow, in some form or other, close to 10 years now, about 10 years. It's been officially released, like the first 1.0 version came out, I think, in 2011. So even that was 8 years ago. And it was right at the beginning of the year. So 8 years ago that an official version has been out, but even before the official version was out, there were lots of people contributing to its development. So MuseScore has a huge team of mostly volunteers who just, some people like to go skiing, some people take ballroom dance lessons or whatever that you do for fun. Some people like to program for fun and like to program things that are useful, especially, and that's kind of how I got involved. I was a programmer. I saw this program that did most of what I needed, and I got involved implementing some things. One of the first things that I did actually was improving how chord symbols work, so that you could enter, if you like MA for major, or if you like MAJ, or you like triangles. I sort of did some programming to make it so all of those work, and a lot of other things like this superscripting that we see here, and a lot of other things that happen with chord symbols I implemented myself. So anyhow, my role with MuseScore has been as a volunteer helping with the programming, but now I'm also the director of education for MuseScore, which is a fancy title that basically means my job is to help users learn to use MuseScore. And so as part of what I'm doing is this weekly Café series. So what I want to do now is talk about some of the other ways get help with MuseScore, some of the other things that you can do with MuseScore other than just the creating of the scores and playing them back, because while that's wonderful, that's the main purpose of MuseScore, there's a bigger world, and maybe some of you encountered MuseScore not first because of the program itself, but maybe because of the website. So I want to show you a little bit about the website if you haven't seen that already. So MuseScore, as I mentioned, and as you probably know, is a program for creating these scores. But then what do you do with them? Well, one thing that you can do is under File, Save Online. And when you save online, then it's going to take you to this website here, MuseScore.com. Again, I have to apologize for the slowness of my computer. I'm actually thinking I'm going to upgrade and get one with more memory, because switching windows is just painfully slow when I've got a lot of stuff going on. Anyhow, this is the website, MuseScore.com, and you can see all these pieces that people have uploaded. And sometimes they're original compositions. This one here is this person's 4th piece that he's ever written, and it looks really nice for someone's 4th piece. That's impressive. Sometimes it's people that have taken existing music, like classical music or whatever, and just entered it into MuseScore. So like here, this is a Bach chorale that someone took and just entered into MuseScore. And so there is tons and tons of music available to download here. And so if I go and let's take a look at this one, because I would show off one of those original ones, but I don't want to put anyone on the spot if they're feeling shy about that. Although you wouldn't upload it if you were feeling that shy. So here's the Bach chorale, and I can press play, and it will play it right here on the website. Or it would if my computer weren't so slow. It's thinking about it. So this particular recording, I think I can see what's happening. This is a real live recording. This is not the recording that came, that MuseScore plays back itself. And that's something that you can actually do if you're a pro member on the website. You can upload your own audio for the score. I believe you do this through YouTube. To be honest, I haven't used that feature. And so that's something that I have yet to really explore, is how to upload your own custom audio. But that sounds like that's what it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just have a really fancy sound font going on. MuseScore allows you to install your own sound fonts that you can install your own sound font. Just like a font changes how letters look, a sound font changes how instruments sound. And so you can install different sound fonts to change the sound of how your score is. So anyhow, I can then download this score onto my computer. And when I say download in MuseScore format, I want to put it here. I'll put it scores. Let me create a new folder. And now that I've downloaded it, I can open this in MuseScore. I don't remember. Yeah, okay. I was going to say I have MuseScore 2 and MuseScore 3 installed, and I can't remember which one it was going to open in, but it opens in MuseScore 3. All right, this score was created in MuseScore 2. Now, MuseScore 2, and I'm going to briefly show you something about this. MuseScore 2 when you entered a lot of symbols into your score, they could easily like overlap each other because it wasn't very smart about how it would lay things out. It would put things in good places, but if more than one thing wanted to be in the same spot, it didn't have any way of dealing with that. MuseScore 3 has something called automatic placement. So now things avoid each other. What it means is a lot of times in MuseScore 2, you had to like manually adjust things, drag things around, or just, fine tune the positions of things so they didn't collide with each other. That's no longer necessary in MuseScore 3. So if you have a score you created in MuseScore 2, when you load it into MuseScore 3, it's going to ask you, do you want to reset the positions to their defaults? And generally you should say yes, because the defaults are going to be much better now. So if I just say yes, there's actually nothing here, I think, that was going to have collided anyhow. It's not so much the notes that were going to collide. Note layout was already good. It was text, like if you had a tempo marking and a rehearsal marking and some other text all here at the beginning of the score, they would all collide with each other. Or if you had a slur here and then also some text, or if you had text and then there was a stem sticking above the staff, those are the sort of things that used to collide that won't anymore. So anyhow, here's that score loaded into MuseScore. Now we can hear what it sounds like just using the default sound. Oh, that sounded like an organ. Yeah, I think so. It sounds like it was originally set up to play with an organ. So that's a score that someone just uploaded to MuseScore.com, and now I've downloaded it, and now I can do whatever I want with it. I can add the lyrics to it if I want. I could change key if I'm interested in like having a choir sing this, but decided that the range doesn't really fit my choir, or maybe I want to take this and arrange it for string quartet now. So I can do all of those things now that I've downloaded this. And MuseScore.com has just huge amounts of score. That's a poor wording. Large numbers of scores. Pretty much, any piece, like if I want to look for the Moonlight Sonata, I can type Moonlight Sonata in here, and up will come all the versions of the Moonlight Sonata that different people have uploaded. Interesting that only 2 of them show up. I know there's many more than that. There's probably other ways of oh, that's most popular. Anyhow, you can search around and find other versions of it. And I see all keyboard, easy keyboard. So they keep revamping things about the website that I haven't fully explored. Yeah, so there's all sorts of other, oh, now it's not showing me Moonlight Sonata anymore. But anyhow, it's exploring this website and all the different scores that are available. You can spend a lot of time just looking at all the music that people have uploaded, and either playing it on the website or downloading it, printing it out, doing whatever you like with it. This is also a community. So if I click the community button here, you'll see that there's all these groups where you can discuss things. And since I was just searching for piano music, it's showing me the piano community. But there's a lot more than that. There's also, you can see some jazz and blues ones, and for film and video games, etc. There's communities for all sorts of different topics. But since we're on piano, if I go and look at this group here, you'll see that there's all this discussions here of people just talking about piano music and having uploaded music to it. So if I click here under sheet music, you'll see all this different piano music that people have uploaded to this piano group. And here's that piece right there. It's, it was playing back with organ, but it's basically, can be played on piano too. So this community here, it's free to join the website. As I mentioned, there's pro accounts also though, and if you have a pro account, then you can upload more music. There's limits on how much you can upload unless you have a pro account, and there's other things like that ability to have custom audio for your score, and there's some statistics that you can get, all sorts of extra bonuses that you get by becoming a pro member. And that's one of the ways. I mean, MuseScore is free, but there's a small team of people who actually make the core company. I'm not actually part of that per se. My title is MuseScore Director of Education. It's sort of it's complicated, but in any case, the core development team and the team that develops the website, the way they actually get paid is through these pro subscriptions and some other things here and there. As Director of Education, I do things like I think, oh, I didn't bring a copy of my book. Darn it. I have written a book, Mastering MuseScore, that you can purchase, but actually that book is currently out of date because it covers MuseScore 2. So instead, if you're looking for a really good way to study MuseScore and learn more about it, then you want to come here to my online course. And the online course is just... if you come here, and let me post this, and let me paste that into the chat. And also there's MuseScore.com. I should make that actually be a link, huh? MuseScore.com. Is the score sharing. Okay, so the course is it's video based, and consists of like 100 lessons, each like a few minutes long, to cover every aspect of MuseScore. And if you're really looking for really getting deep inside how to do things in MuseScore, this online course is absolutely, I spent the better part of a year developing it. It's really, really comprehensive, and yet it starts right off with some basics. And so you can, this is something that if you're interested in really getting the most out of MuseScore, you're welcome to take advantage of. Beyond that, though, if you're looking for help with MuseScore, again, this is by being open source. It's not just the source that's open, but the whole community is open. So there's all sorts of free help available on MuseScore.org. So MuseScore.com and MuseScore.org. So score sharing, which is what I was just showing you, is about MuseScore.com. Support, etc., is on MuseScore.org, which is also where you downloaded the software from. So on MuseScore.org is where you're going to find things like the free handbook that is, covers the basics of using the program. It covers pretty much all the features, just not as in-depth as my book or a course. But it covers pretty much everything, and it's still in the process of being updated for MuseScore 3. But this is the page you get to if within MuseScore, if you say Help Online Handbook, it's basically going to take you to this page, and then you can click anything to find out how to do things. So if you want to learn about how to customize beams or add beams to music, you click on beams and you get the information about beams. So the handbook is your basic starting point to learn things just as far as what's freely available. There's also some free tutorials you can find here. And these again are based on MuseScore 2, but the basics haven't really changed from MuseScore 3. And also the support forum here. This is where if you have questions, you can go and ask questions. So I'm usually really good at following up here and checking and answering questions, but so are a lot of other people. Lots of people can be answering questions, so feel free to ask, especially here on the support forum. If you have a question about how to do something, you can do a search first using the search thing here to see if someone else has already asked that. Like if maybe you're wondering, I don't know, how do I break a beam? That's since I was just looking at the beams, I can do a search and see if anything comes up. And what comes up is, you can see, here's a previous discussion of that very topic. You can go here and it will show you the discussions. Like here's someone who answered the question with a link to, probably a link just to somewhere in the handbook. Oh, it's a link right back to that same page. There you go. So, but then there's people who give other, advice on the topic, and then maybe other questions. And then if you want to add information or, ask another question, you can just ask questions yourself. Right there under the support forum, you can just go to that support forum and then add new forum topic and ask your own question. So it's a great way to get help, and it's amazingly responsive. I mean, when I say amazingly responsive, okay, so this guy's question was asked 2 minutes ago. It hasn't been answered yet. This one was asked 26 minutes ago, and it's already gotten an answer. This question was posted 2 hours ago, and it's already gotten 4 responses. So, etc. So it's very, very fast response. It's really amazing. I mean, and you don't have to pay for any of this support. It's just people who love helping each other out. Okay, so see you later, Marcus. So getting support here on the forum is free, and it's a wonderful, supportive place. And then there's also the issue tracker. This is where if you do encounter a bug, like that bug involving the size of the text. Remember when I did that? I tried to take a snapshot of of a bit of music so I could paste it into a word processor, but the text was too big. That's a bug, and that bug had been submitted here, and then it's already been fixed, so it won't show up here. But these are some bugs that other people have submitted, and some of them have already been fixed. These ones that are in green are ones that have already have fixes that have been submitted by, like this one I submitted a fix for myself. These are other ones that other people have submitted fixes for, etc. So this is where you would submit bug reports if you have problems, and you can do that directly from within MuseScore. Also, you can get to both the support forum. If under the help menu, ask for help takes you to the support forum, or report a bug takes you there to the issue tracker where you can report bugs. So those are the main things that I wanted to show you. I guess there's one other thing that two other things I was going to do. One is just mention also there is a Facebook group. It's not as convenient. I mean, if you really interact with Facebook a lot, it's convenient in that way to be able to ask a question there, but you can't like attach a score there. It's harder for us to help you if you have a particular problem involving a particular score, but you can do this. So let me copy and paste that into the chat also. So yeah, this is a place where you can ask questions on Facebook and get answers. Sometimes we'll tell you, really in order to help, we need you to attach your score that you're having trouble with, and in that case, we'll send you to the support forum. The other thing that I do want to mention, if any of you are associated with a school, like in particular if you're a music teacher or a music student, I have developed this new program called the Educational Partnership, where my goal is to support schools. I realize that a lot of music schools teach about using music notation software because it's needed for like teaching a music theory class or a music composition course. And often the teachers in those courses, they, when they were getting their music degrees, they used Finale or Sibelius, and that's what they know. But most students now are using MuseScore because it's free and it's excellent. I mean, it's every bit as good as Finale or Sibelius in terms of the results you can get and what you can do with it. Yeah, of course, maybe there's some things they can do that MuseScore can't, but the reverse is true also. And really, students know what know what they're doing. They're using MuseScore because it works and it's free. So often what happens is their teachers aren't as up on how to use MuseScore, and I really want to help bridge this gap. I really want to help support schools so that the students feel supported using MuseScore. So this educational partnership is something that's free to join for either teachers or students, in which I'm trying to make some resources available. I'm kind of just in the process of launching this, but let me go and make sure I post this into the chat also. There we go. So the educational partnership, I just have some resources available, and then I'm also setting up discounts on that course. I talked about that online course that I've created where there's like 9 hours of video. It's everything you could possibly need to know about learning MuseScore, but there's also just like a 10-minute getting started lesson that really shows you a ton of what you need really quickly. Rather than having every student have to register for that course individually, I am doing a huge, incredible bulk discount so that the school can purchase 100 licenses for that course, and so all their students can take it for free. And that's something that I really am going to be reaching out to schools and encouraging people to take advantage of over the coming weeks. This is all really brand new, but this is part of why I'm doing this cafe, to sort of let people know everything that's available from MuseScore. So this educational partnership, again, there's going to be some free resources. There already are some free resources here if you join it, but also you will have the opportunity to get group discounts on the online course, so you can sign up your entire student body for like an incredibly low price. So anyhow, that's the stuff that I wanted to show you here about MuseScore, about the world of MuseScore, what all there is that is involved with MuseScore. If you're interested in learning, you're like, okay, I want to do something, I want to create a score. Let me just do the very basic minimum, and then I'm going to refer you to the free preview in my course. So I'm going to click a measure here. I'm going to press this button here to go to note input mode, and now I select a duration, half note, and then I can click in the score to enter that note. Quarter note, and I can enter as many quarter notes as I want. Now I can enter some eighth notes. Now I don't have to just use the mouse. I can also use keyboard shortcuts. So these all have their own. This is 4, 5, and 6. That's useful to know. So 5 changes to quarter note, and then I can just type note names. If I want an A, I just type an A. If I want a B, I type a B. If I want a half note, remember 4, 5, and 6. Half note is going to be 6, so I type a 6. And then I type my C. So that's how you can enter notes into MuseScore. Now there is a ton more, obviously, to learn about MuseScore, and again, my course covers that in great detail. But let me go to where my course is, and where do I have that? And just post the link to the introductory lesson, which is a free preview, so that if you want to, you can melody with lyrics, that's the one. So I'm going to post the link to this. And this will really show you everything that's involved in entering a simple song. There's notes, there's lyrics. I use copy and paste. I do a number of things in this demo that really gives you a really good start on using MuseScore. And then if you like what you see, by all means, consider signing up for the best. All right, with that, I think I'm going to sign off. I don't see any other questions here. So again, this is a weekly series, so I'll be back next week, and most likely I will be focusing on some more of the new things in MuseScore 3, which I've talked quite a bit about over the last couple months, because we had an alpha version, then a beta version. Now the official thing is released. By this time next week, we'll probably have our first update. We hope to do updates like, monthly. It's not going to be like every, only once a year between bug fixes or anything. I mean, we're gonna every month or so put out an update, and there's an automatic updater there, so you'll automatically find out that, hey, there's some bug fixes available, kind of like how it works with mobile apps, like on your phone. It'll just automatically, you'll have the ability to update and get these bug fixes and new features here and there also. So by next week, probably our first update will be there, and if so, that's probably going to be the topic of the cafe. If you have ideas, feel free to send them to me, Marc with a C at MuseScore.com. And every week I'll just talk about some other different topic, take questions if people have them, and hope that I can help people really get the most out of MuseScore. So that said, I will sign off and catch you next week.